Hey guys, John at CES Motorsport. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have something pretty exciting we wanted to share with you. It's a little bit different from the normal Supra packages that we do offer. Obviously another beautifully spec'd A90 Supra that came into the shop. Wanted to initially begin with the 600 wheel horsepower upgrade package that we offer, and then he decided he wanted to throw a little curveball at us and shoot for almost 700 wheel horsepower targets. So we decided to upgrade a few extra items that we normally do not include with the 600 wheel horsepower package. But this customer also wanted to keep the stock transmission and stock motor. So what we decided to do is change things up a little bit and include our new Do88 packages that we're offering. So if you want to check our website, see what that's all about, we'll have it linked in the description. You can go check it out. This particular build, and you can't tell, which is one of the real cool things about the Do88 package, this thing has an upgraded charge cooler on it. The reason you don't know that is because the actual engine cover fits over it. So this is one of the new and exciting things that we are going to be offering to our customer base for people interested in having the benefit of an upgraded intercooler charge cooler without having to cut up their engine cover. One of the things that Do88 was really proud of when they're engineering this manifold was to get it to fit basically like the OEM factory manifold does. So you don't have to do any adapter pieces to reconnect the charge piping on the car, and you can also use your beautiful carbon engine cover without having to cut it up and make sure that it fits with the upgraded core. The other change that we did is Do88 also offers their full 4-piece cooling package. So this one has the heat exchanger, the side rads, and the trans cooler on it, all Do88, along with the Do88 intercooler upgrade. Do88 does offer two different versions of their intercooler upgrade. They offer a lower price one and the higher price one, which is their Mera intercooler upgrade that has the Garrett core in it. This one has the Mera intercooler with the upgraded Garrett core, which is one of the cores we used to use back in that day when we did all the E36 turbo kits. Loved these cores, felt like they did a fantastic job, so we were very excited to do some testing and see how this would turn out on the car. Just to finalize the build specs on this one, it is another pure 800 build. It does have the motive reflex on it, 750cc injectors package, MHD Plus tuned, CD919 Chris was at the helm to do all the tuning on this one, and the customer also opted to go ahead and do a carbon fiber drive shaft, also the upgraded axles. So this is a pretty complete package that would be a 700 wheel horsepower package, with the exception of the transmission is still stock. So we do have the XHP Stage 3 flash on there, plus the additional custom options that we add, and also is a stock motor, obviously. Excited to really show you the results that we got when we did the tuning on it. This is flex tuned on 93 up to about E72 is where we had the final ethanol content for this one, and all full MHD Plus integration with Reflex PI. So I'm going to actually step away and bring my main guy in, Hendel, who's going to talk a little bit more about the install for the Do88 and some ins and outs of the whole process.
Cool. So this Do88 manifold with the Garrett core was a relatively easy install. It's my first time installing this manifold. We typically use the EOSpeed manifold or the CSF manifold, and this one, based on their instructions, was like just relatively easy. Everything fits pretty well. The trickiest part was just the rail, getting that to fit, because everything's just snug in there, but it's really not that bad. We did have to shave off clip the valve cover a little bit just to get the bolts through here. Yeah, I remember but it's nothing, you know, that damages the valve cover.
But it looks really nice in here.
Like, yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Nice.
The cooling is nice. We saw on the dyno that the temperatures were dropping about like 4 degrees in the dyno, and ambient, it stayed below ambient temp during the whole pool, which is really nice. We don't really see that with most cores.
Do some of the other coolers change the throttle body position at all?
Yeah, some of them do, and then we have to run different couplers as well. This one you can run just the factory charge pipe, basically.
Yeah, that's nice.
Or upgrade a charge pipe and factory coupler connecting to it. It doesn't change the position of where the throttle body sits. It's all basically like factory.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
I like that.
Obviously you can use your factory cover and cover the rat's nest up.
Yeah, yeah.
No one can see it.
Yeah, that looks nice.
And then if you like aesthetics, you can have the carbon fiber on as well.
Cool.
But yeah, man.
So pretty easy install.
Yeah, very
overall, not too difficult.
Yeah, it relocates some of the evap stuff to the bottom, but that's all in the instructions. It's very, very easy.
Awesome, thanks, Hendel.
Yeah, man.
So one of the other things that was a little bit different about this build was that this customer already had the carbon Venturi intake. Normally, a lot of you guys know that we promote the MST intakes, which is a very good intake for the price point. But if you're looking for something a little bit nicer, and obviously with a carbon effect like this particular cold air intake setup has, Venturi obviously Obviously, it's one of the top of the line products that you can put on the car. And based on what we did after all the testing, definitely performed really well. And one thing I did want to also note is that we left it enclosed. So a lot of times when you see us doing our videos, we'll have the MST intake on there, but we'll have the glass enclosure or the top mount enclosure open so that the filter is getting the active air from our fans while the car is sitting on the dyno. That was not the case with any of the dynoing that we did for this particular dyno session. The Venturi intake was just like you see it. So the dyno data that we're going to show you next was basically how the car is sitting just like this with the fans on it. All right, guys, we're back. Finally wrapped up all the dyno tuning and excited to show you the results. Obviously, this is our favorite part of the build process when we get to share our data and show what everything has done to the wheels on the dyno. We obviously did explain earlier that we are on MHD Plus tuning with Chris, CD919, and this is a full flex tune package that we have installed on the vehicle. So this is Motive Reflex with the ethanol content sensor to be able to read e-content on the car, and with the single flex tune we can tune anywhere from 93 all the way up to whatever ethanol content we want with the upgraded fueling package on the car that consists of the low pressure upgrade plus the PI system and the 750cc injectors that we have. Now there are some additional upgrades that are coming out that are already out with S58 injector upgrades and high pressure fuel pump upgrades for all DI options, but we did not do this on this particular customer car. We went ahead and stuck with the Reflex PI system to add the additional fueling upgrades that the car needed to get to these power levels. What is awesome about this is that we're going to show you some really nice results with the upgraded Do88 cooling package and intercooler that we normally do not use. So this is one of the very first cars where we have actually installed this package, and very excited to show you these numbers. So we're just going to get right to it. Pure 800, like we discussed before, full bolt-on package. Started with the 93 octane tuning. Again, optimal dyno temps and humidity. So for making the most amount of power out of these cars, these were great ambient temps to be doing this now that it's starting to get cooler versus the hotter temps where we've been dynoing with other videos. So we're probably going to be making a little bit more power, which is exactly what we're showing on the dyno right now. With the 93 octane tuning, we ended up with 537 wheel horsepower and right about 537, 538 wheel torque. This is just 93 only, guys. This is no additional meth or PI options, etc., being added to the mix. 5th gear pulse, just for everybody to know. Sometimes we like doing these in 6th gear for the actual 1-to-1s, but for this particular setup with the stock transmission on the car, we didn't want to put too much load on the trans on the dyno, and we also do limit the power in 6th gear to help keep the trans in check once we start doing the bigger ethanol numbers. So this is why we keep it in 5th gear for guys that are interested in why we do that. Once we finalized the 93 octane tuning, we went ahead and filled the car up with full E. We got to about E72, so these are actual E72 numbers. The most impressive thing about this is that we're cracked easily into the 700 wheel horsepower range. 731.7 wheel horsepower, 625 wheel torque to be exact. Highest wheel horsepower numbers we have ever produced on a stock transmission Supra with this bolt-on package. We have to say right off the bat that the Do88 package is doing the work. Obviously the ambient temps help. Obviously Chris with his tuning has done a fantastic job dialing in the car the way we wanted it. We did ask him to try to limit the torque as much as possible, like we typically do, to keep the numbers in check so the transmission can stay as happy as it can. Obviously, you know, we're a little bit higher than the 600 wheel torque limit that we typically like to target target for, but it's just very hard to do that and produce these kind of wheel horsepower numbers. But I think we did a fantastic job overall. And again, in 6th gear, we do kind of turn things down and limit it a little bit just to keep the trans happy. But man, this thing is going to be a rocket, guys. 731 wheel horsepower with a stock motor, stock trans, pure 800. Fantastic numbers, and this customer is going to be super excited about the results. I think we had told him we were going to shoot for around 650 to 680. But yesterday when I was tuning with Chris, I was like, well, let's just see the potential of this new package that we've got going on here and see what we can come up with. And these were the final numbers. This isn't just a glory number, guys. You know, it was just after a nice cool down in the first pull, this is what it made. Testament to the tuning also with what the car was putting down, and also on E72. So we're not even at a E80 or E85 range. Also wanted to say timing corrections were non-existent, even at this ethanol content. The temps also play a role, but biggest factor again, the Do88 intercooler, the Mera intercooler with the Garrett core is just doing the work. While we were doing these pulls, especially beforehand, when it was cooler in the evenings, the IATs would actually drop during the dyno run. So we would start at like a 79 ambient and be like at 75 degrees by the end of the pull. Even for these particular runs, ambient temp was about 75-ish, and it was literally staying the same ambient temp the entire pull in 5th gear. So testament to the Do88 guys for doing their homework and producing a very nice charge cooler option that's a little bit different than the rest. I think a lot of guys will be happy about the fact that it does fit underneath the factory engine cover. So that is a huge plus for a lot of people that want that more stealth look or incognito look. So when you pop the hood, they're like, oh, well, looks like a factory engine in there. And then next thing you know, you're putting down these numbers on the street. So overall, really excited about this build package and also to get it back to the customer. I think one thing we forgot to mention earlier was that this does have a full AWE resonated touring exhaust system on the car. So that complements the rest of the full bolt-on package along with the cooling and fueling upgrades that we did. Once again, we'd just like to thank everybody for joining us and checking out our channel and seeing some of the builds that we're doing at the shop. We're really excited about showcasing this one with the new Do88 package on there. So if you guys are interested in that, we do have all this stuff listed on our website. If you want us to put a custom package together for you, shoot us an email, give us a call. We'd be happy to help out. And as always, we appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for the next one.